You're listening to Secret Sonics, a podcast exploring the creative side of music production. Welcome back to Secret Sonics. Today I am joined by Hillel Reiner, who I actually found out about because he produced a good friend of mine's a new song for a good friend of mine, and I heard it and I was really blown away by the production. And the next day I was on Facebook and I saw that he posted a video explaining how he uses layering in music production. I was also really impressed with that video. And this video was in Hebrew. I'll share a link, but I don't think most of you will understand it in any event. So this is a up-and-coming guy. He's only 26, born and raised in Jerusalem, started producing at age 19. At the age of 22, he started production work at Risotto Studios, one of Israel's well-known recording studios, where he worked alongside Shai Sadia and gained a lot of experience in the analog world. After that, he moved to The Slick, a studio in Tel Aviv, where he produced almost 100 songs. And he just recently started working on his 5th album. Among many others, he has worked with David Lavi, Tamar Friedman, Daniel Zamir, and Michael Griesamer. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. These are some well-known Israeli artists that may be less known abroad, but I have a feeling this kid is going places. So, yeah, welcome to the podcast, Hillel.
Thank you, man.
So tell us a bit about how you got started getting involved in music production.
I was actually, when I was a kid, there's a public shelter in Jerusalem that just receives, kids that want to play music. And I started going there when I was 14. And when I was 19, they received a budget and opened a small studio. And I asked for a key, and they gave it to me. And I did not know anything about music production or recording or the softwares or anything. But I received a facility to trial and error. And 2 years later, an album came out with more than 20 musicians on it. And it was a very interesting project, and I learned I'm a producer more than anything else, so I just went there.
Amazing. Can you tell me a bit more about the shelter? What exactly was it, and who was going there?
Dropout kids like I was. A lot of, metalheads. And that place it's a life-changing place for me, because they taught me music. I don't have any formal education. And that's where I learned to play guitar, and just to play. They give a facility to kids, just to practice. There are 2 rooms. One is a rehearsal room. The other is just, a chill zone. And I was there a lot when I was in high school.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Was there a song or album that really opened your mind to the possibilities of what could be accomplished with music production?
During the years, it changed. Yeah, in the beginning, it was, metal albums. And I think when I started thinking about the fact that I'm now starting to produce an album, I really looked up to Oren Lavi, if we're talking about Israeli artists, which is an amazing artist. He also self-produced himself. Who else can I think of? Back in the day, it was, Kings of Leon.
Interesting.
And nowadays, I'm completely blown away by Still Woozy and Glass Animals. Very produced type of albums. Alongside that, very organic stuff like MFE, which is like a big brass band.
How did you pronounce it?
MFE. E-M-E.
MFE?
Yeah, E-M-E-F-E.
Okay, I'll have to do some research and check it out.
They're great.
Amazing. So when you're working with an artist and they approach you to work on a song, what are some of the criteria you look for in terms of gauging their potential?
I start off with conversations. I don't immediately go to the instruments or to the computer, or a whole few sessions can go by with just talking. I want to know. There's also a big difference between a person's taste as a music consumer and a music producer. And I try to figure out both in each artist I work with. And it can take a while until we figure out his aesthetics, both as a consumer and as a producer. And just try to be very honest and accurate to his taste or her.
Uh-huh. And do you have a feeling whether you think it will be a good fit or it won't be a good fit?
Yeah, for sure. And also where, for that matter. Like, I've recently worked with a religious woman that wrote most of her music in her living room because of a family situation. And I told her, listen, I think we should produce it in your living room because that's where it's, the most accurate place. And we went for that. Like, I'm trying, again, to be very honest and accurate for the artist I'm working with.
Mm-hmm. So what do you listen for the first time you hear a song? And to add to that question, do you usually want to listen to a demo or do you want to hear like a live performance or?
99.9% I do not want to hear the demo. I want to hear it live because the way I see music production, I am sort of a converter. I convert what they want to, create emotionally from the SPL world to the DBFS world. And I want to understand what it is emotionally that they want to create and then start working on the song and arrange and, whatnot. So most of the time I'll be looking for what it is that the artist is trying to make me feel.
Mm-hmm.
And that is also a big topic as itself.
Sure.
Because, you can play the song twice and it'll sound different.
Absolutely.
And that's why a lot of the conversation phase is so important. Because I also want the dude or the woman to tell me, like, I really want to understand what they want to accomplish emotionally.
Where is the song coming from inside of them?
And where does it want to hit? Because a lot of the I don't know, people can come to me saying, I want to be very poppy. And during the process, realize that they actually want way more honesty and self-accuracy, we'll call it.
Actualization, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And way more than they thought. So if someone will come to me and I'll really feel that they do not really care, they want it to be big, then it has artistic consequences. And if someone else comes and I feel like he's saying it, but he doesn't know that he actually is going through a journey with himself, an artistic journey, then I can go there knowing that 2 sessions from now, he'll take the steering wheel to a different direction. And it's, see the, I really changed my mindset regarding production from, like, in the beginning, I used to approach a song in like a mindset of, I'm going to make this as cool as I can. And now I realize how much of a human job this is and an emotional job. And as the converter, as the person who knows this medium better, I need to take my artists by the hand very gently and, help them out through this process.
Find what they're really trying to do.
Yeah.
And guide them, in a sense. Amazing. So when you're getting going, do you have like a go-to instrument or sound bank that you use to get the ball rolling, or is it more spur of the moment kind of thing?
Go-tos are generally something I avoid. I used to think that that's the way to go, and I built myself a template, which was like, I thought, this is the reverb I like, this is blah, 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 blah. It's actually way more confining than anything, A, and B, it's somewhat arrogant to think what will fit or what you like, and not be open to surprises.
Interesting.
So actually my current template is empty. Like, I have the sends ready, and let's say on the reverb sends and the delay sends, I just have all my plugins in disabled.
Yeah.
And I search. So regarding music production, not mixing, I have my tool set for sure, but I try not to be confined. I do, obviously, I have my taste, which is somewhat of a, go-to maker, but I try once in a while, as frequently as I can, to think, all right, the thing I wanted to do right now, what is exactly the opposite? And go for that.
Mm-hmm. So you like stop yourself in your tracks and say like, I'm about to reach for, some plugin that's going to manipulate the audio in some way and be like, wait a minute, what's the opposite thing I could do? You literally stop yourself in your tracks.
Sometimes, yeah. And even, I don't know, I've reached, I don't know, let's say I put, a plugin that does this or that, just duplicate it. I don't know. And it did a great job. But I don't know, let's try moving it, I don't know, up the chain, down the chain, duplicating, I don't know, just surprising myself in order to not be that dude that just sounds like himself.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah, it's fun.
So take us on a tour through the creation of a typical song you'd normally work on. Like chronologically, how does it come together?
So first off, we'll start, in a way, I start off with the composing stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like I won't go to the computer before I am sure the song is well structured, it's in the right key, in the right tempo.
So you're just using like a metronome on your phone and writing it down on a piece of paper?
Yeah, recording on my phone for that matter, if something works and the groove is right and the, again, structure, it's very, and tempo, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And key, these, elements which can be sometimes skipped upon are critical. It's something that when you're composing a song, you're not really thinking about, but half a step up or down, or literally 1 BPM up or down can make a really, really big difference.
Totally. Yeah, I have like a theory that certain BPMs just tend to work better than other BPMs.
Yeah, so again, like I don't really have go-tos, so I keep my
your mind open.
Yeah,
totally.
But I'll go for that, and I have songs that the BPM will change several times, up or down, 1 or 2 or 3 or 7. I don't mind.
Yeah.
In Svi's song, actually, we have tempo changes.
Yeah, this is the song I was mentioning at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, Rodan's great band.
Yeah, and I'll put a link below so you can check them out. And
it's something I really invest quite a lot of time in. So that's the first stage. I want to hear the song naked, quote unquote.
Yep.
And then I'll start arranging and figuring out what my palette is. So if we'll go back to the former question, the go-tos I'll have will be built after I have my palette for the artist or for the project. Like if we're working on an EP, I'll figure out what colors I'm going to use in that EP, and I'll go for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, when you say colors, you're talking about like the tones.
Yeah, if it's strings and a beat, or strings and drums, or synths and, I don't know, piano.
So that could be dependent on the genre, or it could be dependent on
the taste
anything.
Of the artist.
Yeah.
And what's, correct for the music. And I'll try to, again, make a statement and figure out my palette before everything.
Before you get to work.
Yeah, and it's modular, it can change in
Are you thinking about these things like as you're walking around doing dishes at night, or is it like something that just like on the moment you're like, oh, let's do it, let's try this?
Both.
Yeah. Amazing. And you're not afraid to try something and see if it works or not.
If I'm not trying, I apparently don't like the artist enough.
Good. What influences your decisions when it comes to structure and arrangements?
Both how I feel. I mean, if we're talking about structure, then I don't know. Sometimes songs need to flow. And if I feel that this or that does not flow, then we'll work on that. And sometimes songs don't need to flow. They actually need to be very sharp. And I just want the song to feel good. Mm-hmm. And, there are more technical stuff. I don't know, let's say, fundamental frequencies. I won't put, when I'm arranging something, I'm trying to be very aware of what goes where. Mm-hmm. I won't put the piano where the vocals are, or the guitar, or whatever. I'm trying to be very organized. It's,
give everything its own space.
Arrangement 101 is like, make sure things do not clash. And, fix it in the mix is the worst mistake anyone can do. You've heard just a song I'm working